it came as quite a surprise to all of the House managers when the New York Times story came out. But I guess that's the best that Representative Meadows has right now. Look, I can understand the reasons why, and I think we knew these already, why the president and his allies have wanted to suppress John Bolton's testimony. They evidently had this manuscript. They understood what John Bolton had to say, and they were deathly afraid the American people would find out. But the question the senators will have to answer is, how will they explain why they waited until March 17th, when the book comes out, for the American people and the senators themselves to learn key facts in this trial? And I just think it's going to be enormously difficult to rationalize why you can conduct a fair trial without witnesses, and particularly one as central as this.
I think
it's the last question.
The real reason why is that the House blew it. You had the chance and could have called Bolton and didn't do it. So
well, you know, they made the argument that the House didn't ask Bolton to testify. And of course, that's false. We did ask Bolton to testify. And when he refused and wouldn't show up for the testimony, his lawyer told us, if you serve Mr. Bolton with a subpoena, he will fight you in court. He will sue you, as indeed his deputy sued the House. Had we done that, like we did with Don McGahn, 9 months later, we would still be in court trying to get John Bolton's testimony. Now, the question is, why was John Bolton determined to go to court to fight testimony in the House, but he's now willing to come before the Senate? And that's a question that he should answer when he testifies. But at the end of the day, the senators cannot hide from a relevant witness who has come forward willing to testify, and indeed one that has such central information in this case.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.